$1.2 trillion. That's how much is projected to be spent on advertising in 2025 globally. Yeah, that's a lot of money. But having worked in marketing for the last 4 years, I know that a big percentage of that is just going to waste. From messaging to creative to placement, there are 100 of things that could go wrong at any point. As you know, my goal on this show is to pursue an understanding of the world so that I can navigate it in a useful way. And I believe the money is a big part of what makes the world what it is. And to understand money, I need to understand business. And I can't really understand business if I don't understand marketing and advertising. So I spent many hours reading. That's not ideal. Reading many books about advertising and marketing. And in this episode, I'm going to share 4 things you need to know before you make any advertisement or marketing assets for your business. I don't know if you can see here, but 56% of the people who watch the podcast have not subscribed. If you're among those people, could you please do me a favor and click the subscribe button. That's really the best way you can support me and support the mission that I'm on. Let's go. First things first. The goal of any advertising campaign is to do it again. If this is your product and you're going to run an ad to get people to come in store and buy it, the goal is to run the ad profitably so that you have enough money to do it again. Because when you can get to a point where you're doing advertising in a profitable way, then you can basically have a money printing machine. Because the only thing that you need to do is, let people know, more people know about your product. They come to buy, you make a profit on it, you reinvest some money, some of the percentage of that money back into the ads. The ads let more people know about the product. They come, they buy, and the loop continues. For you to be able to do that, these 4 things has to be in place. Number 1, ask who is it for? In my opinion, that is the most important thing anybody who does marketing, anybody who does advertising needs to understand. It's who is this product for? Who is it designed for? What problem is it solving for those people? But you can't even know what problem the product is going to solve if you don't even know who the product needs to be for. That is really important to understand, which is why I made the video recently saying basically that I went through the process of trying to understand what this show is for and who it's for. Because if I don't know who the show I'm building is for, then I don't really know what to focus on and what not to focus on. From a topic perspective, from a strategy perspective, meaning how do I want to make money? What kind of products do I envision, making as part of the podcast? Because for me, this is a business and I'm trying to build a whole business around it. But I can't really know what to build on the side of the show and what guests do I need to invest in getting on the show if I don't know who the audience is, who the target audience of the show is. And the same goes to books, the same goes to physical products, the same goes to Apple. I mean, it's a physical product. But when they're making a MacBook, they need to have the person in mind. They're making the MacBook specifically to solve problems for a certain group of people. In the book, This is Marketing by Seth Godin, I think he also touches on it in this book. Instead of targeting like a huge group of people, you need to target like a really narrow group of people. So, for example, the MacBook, the people are going to be jumping on whatever upgrade that Apple is going to make. It's not everyone. It's not everyone who has money to buy it. It's everyone who has money to buy it and is very tech enthusiastic. Like they get status by being the one who goes first, the one who, they're like early adopters. You need to know the thing that you're making, the project that you have, if it's a blog that you are building. I have a newsletter that I write every single week. I have to keep in mind when I'm sitting down to write the newsletter, who is on the other side of the screen reading the newsletter. What voices do they have in their head? Because the reality is that people don't think about what I think about. They don't see the world the same way I see the world. They don't watch the same shows that I watch. Even if they watch the same shows that I watch, how the shows influence them is very different from how it influences me. But you need to imagine what that group of people is. For me, that group of people for this show is a person. It's basically me, but in another body. Meaning, it's a person who's trying to build a business, who is in the early days of building a business. They know that they thrive, they have fulfillment, they get fulfillment out of pursuing something, out of building something. It could be a physical product, it could be trying to build an agency, it could be trying to start a YouTube channel, it could be building something. And they want to turn that into a profitable business, but don't know how yet. How, meaning they lack maybe the business acumen that is required to do that. Maybe they lack motivation. Maybe they lack inspiration. Maybe they have a lot of problems. And I'm still like going through the process of trying to understand what those problems are. Mainly some of those problems, because my target audience is basically me, are the problems that I'm facing. And I'm making this podcast, this episode specifically because I know that a big part of building anything is you need to let people know about it. You can't let people know about it. So letting people know about it, meaning advertising, is a big skill, a big thing that you need to learn. So I wouldn't have made this episode had I not defined who the audience for this show is. And a big part of being specific about who your audience is you need to ignore everybody else. I can't care about people who don't care about marketing. Because my kind of people, the kind of people I'm trying to build the show for anyway, are the kind of people who are interested in learning about marketing and advertising and using that skill, the knowledge, to build the thing that they're building, whatever it is, right? And I can't try to please people who don't, if I'm going to focus on these people, right? If you want to focus on people who are, Red Bull is all about like, pushing your limits and going outside of your comfort zone. They can't appeal to those people and then appeal to, somebody who just wants to sit around and eat chips all day, right? It's the first thing that you need to define, because if you don't, then your messaging is going to be out of alignment with that group of people, the group of people they are trying to target. You're going to be confused about I don't know what color, even like down to like what colors do you use, what images do you use, what kind of messaging do you like, all that is downstream of have you clearly to the name understood who this person, who this product, the thing that you're trying to let people know about is for. The second thing, you need to have an irresistible offer. Quick one. Alex Hormozi, the guy who wrote this book, a couple, has it been weeks? A couple days, made $100 million in a weekend selling a book. That is insane. Like I can't even like imagine how much like goes into making that kind of money in a day. But I was on the live, and meaning like the launch of the book, and had been receiving marketing materials for the launch. Maybe I should like read this letter that he sent. He sent it like a week maybe before the book launch. The title says, 5 reasons you should come to the 100 Money Motors live launch event. Here we go. First, there's a book I'm launching, 100 Money Motors. The book you never knew you needed. This is because most businesses lose money on advertising. Bad. Then they spend more money getting customers than they make from them. Worse. The reason is they don't know how to get people to spend more money effectively. This book reveals the trade secrets only the pros know. Some of them only I know. Value, right? Because if it's only exclusive to him and you can only know about it through the book or the launch, then it's an incentive for you to go and attend the launch. Second reason why I should, he sent it to me, so it was me, I should go to the launch. I will be revealing the money models responsible for the vast majority of my material success. This line alone made me want to go to the launch, because the dude is like rich. He has way more money than many people. So the fact that on the launch is going to share things, the frameworks or the money models as he's calling them, that helped him make his money. I want to know that. Anybody who has a business wants to know that. You will be able to see them used in real life. Just like the value equation, this will become a core concept across the business world. If you own a business, you will want to know this. It will be worth your time. That's a promise. Okay, again, value. Third, I have at least 5 mystery headliners coming to deliver tactical value. Some of the best business people don't have business brands. They just do business. These 5 have never appeared on the same stage and likely won't again. You will want to hear them. Fourth, you will get a secret project I've been working on for over 2 years in preparation for this launch. It's better than an NFT and less than a Bitcoin. And you will get a coupon code to check out with for free. 5 big fat giveaways for everyone, plus anyone who pre-ordered a book or referred a friend to the launch. Okay, so basically, these are 5 reasons why I should attend the launch. And he basically stacked this value. The main thing, the core thing, is the first reason. It's the book. The launch is about the goddamn book. But he is stacking different things to make the book valuable. And I think I took way too long to understand this, that the thing that you're selling, this product, this book, or a photography service, is not enough anymore. Because most things that you're competing with, I mean, if he's launching a book, like on the same day that he's launching a book, there's like a lot of other people who are launching a book. If I'm drinking this energy drink, there's a lot of other options that I can choose from. What else can you do to make this a little bit more valuable to the person? To be specific, if you have the photography business, what else can you offer your client to make the service itself, the core service, more valuable than any other competition that you have, right? Could you offer to not only do the 5 photographs that you are going to give them, but maybe, I don't know, turn that, give them a digital version and print version, right? And make that nice, and that they would want to maybe, I don't know, have it in their living room. Could you, now if you're like a wedding photographer, could you help them choose locations, like where you want to go and do photography? Could you take like something off their table, right? Could you recommend a DJ? Could you help them find other services that are in line with your work? Like, could you recommend a videographer? Like, having other things that you can stack on and say, by the way, you're getting these 5 images, but you're also getting this. And if you like, make them feel like if they choose not to go with you, they're like being stupid. They're making a stupid decision because it's like too variable. Yeah, you can do that like with almost everything, and you need to, right? This show, I'm building the newsletter specifically for that reason, because I want people to have another place that they can go to once you've watched the show. If you watch this episode and you want to learn a little bit more about my world, about like, other things that I'm exploring, like, you have an option. And it's not just the show. You can sign up and get a weekly email from me about different things, about storytelling, about marketing, about life in general. And that gives it like a little bit more value. And I want to extend that to, other things, like having products or having services that once you've consumed the show and you like it, those other things that you can explore to get a little bit more value in line with what you're trying to achieve and the problems that you have. Number 3, tell a great story. I'm very passionate about storytelling. If you've been part of my audience, if you've seen this show before, you already know that. And I'm not saying this because I love storytelling, especially now that AI is going to be making most of the stuff that you see on the internet, right? If you go in LinkedIn, I think it's now in Facebook as well. Yeah, it's in both. If you go in LinkedIn and go to set up an ad, you can literally create an ad without leaving LinkedIn by just typing in what you're looking for in the objective, and it will come up with, images. They're not the best, I have to warn you. I cannot use them, at least for now, but it's going to get so much better the more, we go. That creating the assets, the video that you run as an ad, the graphic, the images, the written copy, creating that is going to 100% be done by AI so much better than me, the person. What I think, at least now, that I have that AI doesn't, is the understanding of what it's like to be another person, what it's like to be a human being, right? I know the issues that I have. I know the issues that I know what it's like to have a bad relationship with my dad. I know what it's like to spend a week without talking to my sister and having to explain it. I know, like, things like that, things that are like so human, and only me as a human being can understand them, is what I have as an advantage. And I think storytelling, believe it or not, great stories are based on those things. Yes, those like flashy things that are happening, right? Meaning like there's a journey that the protagonist is on and the characters are on. But what is interesting, what makes storytelling interesting, what makes me want to come to work and want to continue watching the 100 show that I'm watching, it's not 100 shows, a show called The 100 that is on Netflix that I'm watching, is because those people in those shows are going through the same thing that I'm going through. And I relate to them in a way. And I want to see how they deal with it. And I feel seen. I feel like, they understand me and I understand them. Like, that is storytelling. Yes, I mean, the show 100 is a sci-fi show. Like, they're, going through things that I would never go through, but they're experiencing the same emotions that I experience going through my own little sci-fi world. Okay, let's bring it down to advertising. When you're going to advertise this, the reason why I picked this over another energy drink is not because I did not read the specs. I am buying this 100% based on emotions, based on what I know about Red Bull and what Red Bull stands for, right? And why, like, if I think that a person saw me drinking Red Bull, that they would think that I'm a bad person, or like I'm not cool, or I'm not, like, I wouldn't drink this. It's an emotional thing for me to buy this. And while you are making your ads, while you are doing your marketing strategy, while you are telling people about the product that you have, about the thing that you're selling, you need to know that you're selling it to people. You are telling that message is going to people who think and make decisions emotionally. And stories relate to people emotionally way more than facts and features and all the bullshit that you are, using to say that your product or your service is better than the next person. Why should they care? Who else that looks like them have received they are now fulfilled because of your product, and so they can believe that it's going to be, like that for them. Like, you need to think about those people as people, the people just like you who are going through the world, figuring out how to stay safe and using the perception of the world to guide them through this crazy thing that we're all going through. Speak to people emotionally, and storytelling is the best way to do that. Tell the story. The last thing, say what only you can say. What do I mean by that? There's probably no better example that I found, at least, than this New Balance ad. I don't know when they made it, but it's really, really good. Worn by supermodels in London and dads in Ohio. So good. And it's just like the shoe and the copy. It's so simple. But the specificity of supermodels, like, you can visually see what a supermodel in London looks like. You can visually see what a dad in Ohio looks like. And it's only because they were like that specific that you're able to visually see that. But also, it's not just the specificity, it's that they can only say this. Like New Balance is probably worn by almost everybody. Like you see girls in New Balance going to the gym. You can see them, old people in New Balance. You can see anybody in a New Balance. You can't really say that on Jordans. I love Nikes. I love Jordan. I love them. But I don't think you can say this on every sneaker brand. You can only say this on New Balance. And if you can only say the thing that you can say, which the best way to do that is honestly to tell stories that only you can tell. If you have let's continue using the photography business, because I know the people that I want to speak to, at least I have a service business. If you have a photography business, saying something only you can say looks like telling a story of the person you helped last time, right? Only you know what it was like to work with that person and what it was like for them to work with you. Can you tell that story, right? Not, trying to say that we are number one in Phoenix in something. Can you tell the story? Because that anybody can say that. That's subjective. But the fact that the father of the guy who was getting married and you were a photographer for their wedding slept on the floor and you helped him up, and the dude was like very, very relieved because his dad like didn't have to that's a terrible example, but didn't have to stop the show, whatever. Like you did something that helped the wedding go as well as it could have, despite the hiccups. Like, give tangible things that happened that only you experienced and nobody else experienced. I try to do that with this show. Like I try to use things in my life. I try to use stories in my life to try to put perspective on the things that I'm sharing, because I only live this life. I don't know what it's like to live your life. I don't know what it's like to live anybody's life. And nobody will ever in the world live the same way that I'm living or experience the same things that I'm experiencing. Even how this Red Bull is tasting to me, I don't know what it tastes like to you. I know that sounds like, woo-woo, but we don't experience the world the same way. And if I can lean into that, if you can lean into your experiences, if you can lean into how you experience the world and the things that you're encountering and the stories that you can collect those stories and use them in your marketing and use them in your messaging and use them in trying to connect with the people that you're telling the thing that you're selling to, you will have like an edge that no AI is going to have, no other person is going to have, because you are uniquely you and nobody else is going to be like you, and you will never be like any other person. Even if you try to, you're going to be the average version of that person. So just be you and lean into that. And I know that is difficult to do. I experience different social events or social experiences where I tend to behave like another person that I'm not. That is the reality. Because also there's a version of me, there's a version of being a human being that wants to be like, to be in, people tend to want to be part of a group. I want to be liked. We all want to be liked. We all want to be admired and loved and accepted, right? And that sometimes can lead you to try to fit in or to try to act in a way that is going to be acceptable to other people. But you can't put on a facade for too long. They're just going they're going to see through it. So I know I'm combining marketing and like being a human, but I think they're like the same. It's the same thing. You're talking to people. It's just like a business talk, but it's people, a person to another person. And all those factors come in to play a role. Anyway, those are four. Those are four things that I think I try to keep in mind, at least when I'm doing marketing for any product or writing copy for an ad for something. To recap, I think that you need to define who your thing is for. Your thing could be a service, it could be a product, it could be whatever you're trying to let people know about. Who is it for? Down to the name. And how do they see the world? What problems are they facing? What stories do they tell themselves about different choices that they're making? How do they justify why they bought a bottle of wine for double the price, that they should have bought it for because they went to an expensive store? How do they justify that to themselves? And how can you use that narrative to communicate to them in a way that is going to, work in your favor? That sounds manipulative, but that's what you're trying to do as a marketer and an advertiser. Is you're trying to change behavior. That's it. That was number one. Number two, you need to have an irresistible offer. Make it so that they feel stupid if they say no. By stacking have the core thing that you're selling, photography. Yeah, that's your core thing. But what else? What else can you offer? How else can you make this photography service attractive to the person you're trying to sell it to? Tell a great story. You're selling to people, and human beings are emotional beings. We make decisions not based on the facts. We use facts to justify our behaviors, but we make choices purely emotionally. Some people are logical than others, but the majority of us make decisions emotionally. Say what only you can say. Use stories, use things that are happening in your life to relate to the other person in a way that nobody else can. And that requires leaning into your uniqueness, into who you are. As weird as that might be, right? Because, the reality of accepting who you are is that you accept that you're going to be not like most people, and that can be weird. You might be a person who is into things that most people don't approve of, and saying what you only can say is saying that. I guess that's where a test comes in, because you need to say it in a way that is going to resonate with the other person. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope that if you are in the early days of building your business, if you have a project, a YouTube channel, podcast, newsletter that you're building, I hope these 4 things help you let more people know about it, hopefully grow it. And as I mentioned earlier, I have a newsletter that I send out every single week. I talk about marketing, storytelling, creativity, productivity, and the life of building things, trying to be valuable in the world, and life in between. If you're interested in that, click the link in the description to subscribe. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.